Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So in today's tutorial will be on this Victoria corset pattern. We'll be learning how to draft this pattern. If this is your first time of stopping by, do well to hit on the subscribe button, join the family, and to my old subscribers, I say thank you very much for all your support. And without wasting so much time, let's get straight into the video, and don't forget to share my videos to family and friends. So for this tutorial, I'll be making use of my pattern paper to draft this. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is to, mark a starting point. And then from there, we are going to go ahead and start inserting our horizontal measurement. Placing my tape at the starting point, I'm going to mark my bust point at 10 inches, my under bust at 13.5 inches, my half length at 16 inches, and then the full length of this blouse at 22 inches. If you can go ahead and measure yours and know where your measurement falls into at every given point. So I'll go ahead and connect all these lines. So this is our bust point. This is our under bust, and then this is the waist, and then the full length of this blouse. So once we are done with that, the next thing we are going to be doing is to insert our shoulder measurement divided by 2, and then from there I'll go down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. And then we are going to go ahead and mark our basic neckline, and for this I am using 3.5 inches. I'll make a mark there, and then for the depth, I'm also using 3.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and connect all these points. I'll connect the shoulder slope into the neckline that we just marked, the neck width that we just marked. And then for the neckline, we are going to be using a basic neckline of, we are going to curve it. Once we are done, this is what we have at this point. So from here, we are going to mark our chest line. And to get yours, divide your bust measurement into 6, add 1.5 inches. That's your chest line. So you're going to go ahead and connect this point and then connect it outward this way, or you can just connect it as a full line. So once we are done with that, at this point we're going to be inserting our bust measurement divided by 4. I'll make a mark there, and then I'll go ahead and measure these 2 points. Once I measure this, I'll divide it into 2 this way. I'll make a point at the center, and then at that point I'll come in by half of an inch, and then I'll go ahead and make a point. So I'll go ahead and join these 3 points together with my curve. So once we are done with that, this is what we have at this point. So this is our chest line. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to mark half of our nipple to nipple measurement, and mine is 8 inches divided by 2 is 4 inches. So we're going to mark it on our bust point, the under bust, the waistline, and then the length of this blouse. And once I am done with that, we are going to go ahead and connect this line straight. So please measure yours to know. So guys, once we are done, this is what we have at this point. So the next thing you're going to be doing is from the bust point, come down by 1 inch. And then for the full length of this, you're going to come up by 1 inch as well. And then at this waistline, you're going to go ahead and take 0.75 on both sides. If you're on a bigger bust, you can do more than 0.75. Just know that the more you're that, the more curve you're going to have. So I'll connect all these points that we just made, from the waistline to the under bust from this side, and then to the other side as well. And then I'll connect from the waist to the 1 inch we came up with from the full length. So this is what we have at this point for this blouse. So once we are done with that, at the shoulder area, we are going to divide what we have on this shoulder into 2. So I'll just divide this into 2 and make a point at the center. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and connect into our bust point. So we are just trying to be able to tighten up the over bust of this blouse. So we're going to be using a shoulder that's coming from the shoulder. So once we are done with that, placing my tape at the beginning, I'm going to go ahead and determine how off I want this blouse to be. So I'll be using 7 inches for this. I'll go ahead and connect this line with a straight line. So it depends on how covered or open you want yours to be. So once we are done with that, at this point you're going to be taking half of an inch on both sides for our over bust start. And then I'll connect it into the bust line as well. just like you see me do. So I'll be using my curve ruler to do this. So I'll connect this way, and then from the other side I'll also connect this way. So this is what we have at this point. You can see, when you look at it, you see that our bust curve is not really there. So we're going to go ahead and make and adjust this so that it will be able to have, accommodate the bust well. So on this side, I went out by half of an inch from that we marked earlier, and then from this other side we also went out by half an inch so that we will have our curve that will accommodate the bust well. So you can see what we have here. You can see is the curve bust is now ready. So from there we are going to go ahead and connect it into the full length. If you look at this, you will see that it's going to cut through the other that we marked earlier. Don't bother about that, it's not going to affect the marking. So you're going to go ahead and work on the remaining part of this blouse. So from here, I'm going to be going down by 1.5 inches for our sweetheart neckline. And just like I mentioned, it depends on how open or close you want it to be. So I'll go ahead and connect this point all the way to the chest line, over bust line we marked earlier. And then I'll go ahead and connect the other line, that line onto the other side, just like you see me do. So once we are done with that, the next thing we are going to be doing is, at this point, we already inserted our bust measurement divided by 4. So I went ahead to replace my dart and then add 1 inch stitching allowance to it. And then at the under bust, I'm just trying to outline the lines and curve them. At the other under bust, we are going to insert our under bust divided by 4. I'll make a mark there, and then I'll measure whatever I have at the dart. So please make sure you measure all your darts. I'll replace the dart, and then I'll add 1 inch stitching allowance to it, or 1.5 inches, depending on what works for you. At the waistline, I'll repeat the same process. I'll add my waist measurement divided by 4, measure my dart, replace it, and then I'll add my stitching allowance. And then at the full length of this blouse, there is no dart there. So what you're going to be doing is to insert your hip measurement divided by 4, and then add your stitching allowance only. And then we are going to go ahead and connect all these points that we just marked now. Once we are done with that, from the full length of this blouse, if you want, you can leave it this way, but so that it will not be too sharp, I'll come up by 1 inch and then I'll connect it into the blouse with my curve ruler, just like you see me do. So this is what we have at this point. This is basically coming together. So for this style, we are going to insert our bust dart. So for the bust dart, is different between your shoulder to your waist at the front and shoulder to your waist at the back. Whatever you have there, you mark it from the bust point down. So you're going to be eliminating this point. So that's for our dart, so that the bust area can sit well on our body. And then from the center front, if you look, you know that the style we're trying to draft is Victoria corset, right? So you're going to be more like having pieces of fabric, or we are going to pieces it. So from the center front, I went in by 2 inches. You can do less than this if you want more pieces of fabric to work with, but I'm just going to divide this center front into 2, just like you see me do. And we're going to be dividing the other side as well. So this is our center front 1, our center front 2, our side front 1, and our side front 2. We're going to be dividing the other side as well. But first off, I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Once I get to my bust area, I'm going to go ahead and mash up my dart so that I don't have shortage of fabric at the end of the day at that area. Then we are going to go ahead and cut out every side of this pattern. If you haven't subscribed up to this moment, please do well to hit on the subscribe button. Join the family. To my old subscribers, I say thank you very much for all your support. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, share my videos to family and friends. So this is what we have at this point. So I'll just match up my dart, use my tape to hold it down, so that we are going to go ahead and slash this one open as well, because I want to have 4 pieces at the front. So this is what we have at this point, guys. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to divide this side into 2, and then we are going to go ahead and slash it open or cut it open. So guys, once we are done with that, this is what we have at this point. So we are going to go into the back. So for the back, there is not much different from the front, but there's still 1 or 2 different. So I'll mark my bust point, my under bust, my waistline, and then the full length of this blouse, and then I'll connect it with my ruler, just like we did for the front. So this place now is the same thing. So this is our bust point, our under bust, our waistline, under bust, our waistline, and then the full length of this blouse. Then we're going to go ahead and mark our neckline. So the width of the neckline we use for the front is 3.5 inches. We are going to be using the same thing for the back as well, 3.5 inches. And then the width I am using 2 inches. I'll connect it this way, and then I'll go ahead and add my shoulder measurement divided by 2. I'll make a point there. From there, I'll come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope, and then I'll connect it into the neckline. And then we're going to mark our chest line. Remember the formula for the chest line: your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. I'll go ahead and connect this line, and then I'll bring down the shoulder slope measurement to meet the chest line. Once we are done with that, I'll go ahead and insert our bust measurement divided by 4. I'll make a mark, then I'll connect the armhole curve. You can see the way we connected the back armhole curve. Do the same. So once we are done with that, so this is our chest line. We're going to go ahead and mark our nipple to nipple measurement on the bust line, the waist, the under bust, the full length. So I'll connect this with a straight line. Once we are done with that, on the waistline, we are taking half of an inch on both sides for our dart, and then I'll connect it into the bust line. And then I'll connect it into the full length of this blouse. Remember, for the front one we did 0.75, right? So this we are doing ½ inch at the back. So once we are done with this, the next thing we are going to be doing, remember, it doesn't have a zipper allowance. If you've noticed at this point, that's because I don't want it to have a zipper allowance. I want it to have the loop, and we're going to be tying it at the back. So I'm going to be inserting my bust measurement, under bust measurement divided by 4. I'll go ahead and replace my dart at this point, and I'll do the same thing for the under waist measurement as well. Mark it, replace my dart as well, and then I'll mark the full length, which is my bust divided by 4 plus my divided by 4. So I'll go ahead and connect all these points together. Once we are done with that, remember we added stitching allowance at the front, so I'll just add stitching allowance here so that we don't mistakenly overdo or underdo our stitching allowance. So I'll go ahead and add it 1 inch on every side, and then I'll go ahead and connect these points from the waistline to the bust and then to the full length of this blouse. Once we are done with that, from that full length we are going to be coming up by 1 inch, and then we are going to go ahead and connect it into this blouse. So this is what we have at this point, guys. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to mark our neckline for the back. So for the neckline, you can just leave it this way, or you can just come down by ½ of an inch from the chest line, and then you're going to go ahead and connect it this way. So once we are done with that, this is what we have. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to divide this side into 2. So we are going to be having 3 pieces at the back, and then the center back we are not going to be doing anything because it's divided already with the loop we are going to be attaching. So I'll just take out 1 inch for that, so that by the time we attach we want to more like a corset that is not fully covered. So this is for our loop, so we're going to be cutting that off, right? So this is our center back one, our side back one, and our side back two. So we're going to go ahead and cut it off out, and that's basically all for this style. I hope you find value. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, share my videos to family and friends, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, because I have beautiful styles coming your way, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.